The moment Ji-hye saw the news, her heart stopped. Gang leader, Shadow, identified, wanted for murder and drug trafficking. The photo on the screen was clear. It was him. The man she loved. Her hands trembled as she reached for her phone. She had just spent last night in his arms, laughing over cheap street food, unaware that she was holding onto a ghost, someone who would soon disappear from her life forever. She dialed his number, her breath shallow. He picked up immediately. Ji-hye, his voice was warm, familiar. Is it true? She whispered. A pause. Then, a quiet chuckle. I was hoping you'd never find out. Ji-hye had always believed in justice. As a detective in Seoul's organized crime unit, she had seen the worst of humanity: drug rings, extortion, cold-blooded killings. Her job was to catch people like him. But she hadn't known, she had met Min-jae on a rainy night at a convenience store. She had been exhausted from a long shift, struggling to open a cup of instant noodles. He had laughed and helped her, his eyes crinkling at the corners. They had started talking, and one conversation turned into many. He was kind, thoughtful. He remembered how she liked her coffee. He sent her messages on long nights, reminding her to eat. She had fallen for him so easily, so completely. Now she knew why he had never let her come to his place. Why he had always been careful, watching over his shoulder, because he was Shadow, the man she had been hunting all along. She met him that night on the rooftop of an abandoned building. He stood with his back to her, the city lights stretching endlessly below. I should arrest you, she said, gripping her gun. I know. He turned, hands in his pockets, looking at her like she was the only person in the world. But you won't. Tears burned in her eyes. Why didn't you tell me? Because I didn't want you to look at me the way you're looking at me now. His voice was quiet. Like I'm a monster. Ji-hye clenched her jaw. Aren't you? He sighed. Maybe. She wanted to believe he wasn't. That the man who held her hand, who kissed her forehead, who made her laugh, wasn't a killer, but she knew better. Min-jae took a step closer. Come with me. Ji-hye's breath hitched. You're asking me to betray everything I believe in. I'm asking you to believe in me. Her fingers tightened around her gun, a helicopter whirred in the distance. Police sirens echoed from the streets below. They were out of time. He smiled sadly. I guess this is it. She closed her eyes for a moment, then raised her gun. I'm sorry, Min-jae. His smile didn't fade. Me too. And then, he ran. Ji-hye hesitated for just a second. Just long enough for him to disappear into the night. She would never see him again. Thank you for watching this video. Click the subscribe button and hit the notification bell for more videos.